Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another small block fighter, and this one is called the STAG F-69 VTOL, which is the ship from Saints Row III. So it's a small block fighter that features a bunch of moving parts to show different representations of when it's in VTOL mode and when it's in flying mode. It does nothing for the functionality, it just looks great when it does it. So pressing F10 and finding the VTOL in the spawn menu, there it is. This thing is 1,362 small blocks using none of the DLC packs and no mods. So we'll give this a thumbs up, we'll move all the way around to the very front here. My character can now bugger off into the distance, there we go. We'll have a quick look around the outside, then we'll fly around for a bit and I'll show you the transformation process. So at the very front here, this is what we get. We got a Gatling gun at the bottom of our ship to blast a nice hole through our enemies. Then as we move further up here, we're going to see our fighter cockpit with two more Gatling guns. As we move around the side here, what we're going to see is these black, white and orange fins. That goes for two at the front, the two large ones at the back, and these small fins at the very back, because these will be able to fold around thanks to hinges, thanks to rotors, and that's how we're going to change mode into VTOL or flying mode. As we continue around the side here, we're going to see some atmospheric thrusters, which are the only form of thrust that appear on this ship. And we've got some nice use of the letter blocks spelling F-69. Very nice stuff. Coming across over to here, this is our main wing at the back, which will transform the most out of all of them. That's been done by a bunch of hinges that we can see inside here. And it does look fantastic when it does it. Towards the main body, we've got a large atmospheric thruster to keep us off the ground. That's been housed quite nicely, thanks to all of our steel blocks surrounding it. Then moving towards the very back here are some more fins that will fold around when we switch modes. Then at the very back here, this is what's going to push us along. Two large atmospheric thrusters, and they've been surrounded by some lovely black blocks. If we were to come up and above this thing past our fins, we've got some more great use of the letter blocks spelling STAG. Then if we were to look down, like so, then move towards the front, this is what we get. So we can see the atmospheric thrusters sticking out the side very clearly. And that is the cockpit at the front, which is very well hidden thanks to all the blocks surrounding it. If we were to come down and underneath, now this is where a lot of our stuff is going to be hidden. So there's the Gatling gun at the very front there. Putting my light on, which doesn't make too much of a difference. This is our landing gear. We've got two of them at the back there. When we press a button, it'll fold up into the main body and become completely flush. We can see some rocket launchers right here which do the exact same thing. So these are retracted in with blast or edge blocks on the back and the front to try and help you out if you do have a misclick. Yes, that's how flush it will get with the rest of the body. We'll retract it all in. That's the very back of the ship where we see the bottoms of our large atmospheric thrusters. And there's the back where we see the large atmospheric thrusters that will push us along. And that is a very brief look around the outside, because now I can get into my character and show you how this thing changes. So just hopping into here, bringing up the HUD, we're going to undo the parking brake, put on the atmospheric thrusters. I added that toggle myself just to stop all the smoke around the ship. And we're going to lift up, if I can. And there we go. Due to the recent changes to the P button, I did need to go in and manually unlock them because they refused to do it by themselves. Now that we've lifted all the way up like so, what I can do is grab the free camera and we can look underneath it. So these are our landing gear, and pressing number 4, it'll fold up and be nice and flush on the bottom. If I was to press number 5, there'll be our rocket launchers to shoot out all the way forwards. There we go. Then we can press it to retract all the way back in. If I was to move all the way around like so we can get a better look, bringing up the HUD, pressing number 6 or number 7 is going to switch modes. So pressing 6, we are now in VTOL mode. It's just a slight change, which is quite nice if you were pretending to change mode. So the front folds down, coming towards the back there and flipping it. There you go, you can see how that's now changing. Then at the very back here are rear fins. Now just fold all the way down. So there we go. And that's how it changes. It's very simple, does nothing to the functionality. So if we're flying forwards like so, nothing's going to change, doesn't affect our thrusters. It's just a little change to play around with. Yes, for the rest of the hotbar, number 1 is going to be for our Gatling guns at the front, fire all 3 together. Number 2 is for manual control over our rocket launchers, and I nearly clicked that with them retracted. It's simply a press to fire instead of a mouse click. And then we can press number 3 to auto fire on and off. So there we go. We now put that all the way back in, and we can switch ourselves to VTOL mode. That's what it looks like once again. So back into flight mode, we'll do a quick thruster test. So moving forwards, this is what we get. We are quite slow for this type of ship, but it does feel very similar to how it behaved in Saints Row. Or at least that's how I remember it, because I haven't played it for a few years. Yes, coming to a stop, it does leave a lot to be desired. So doing a 180 will probably be preferable, and then boosting forwards to help slow down at a much faster rate. Moving left, this is what we get. We are exceptionally slow moving left and right, so we are heavily reliant on our mouse turning and using our booster forwards. Yes, going backwards is very, very slow. Moving down, not too bad, but we are on 1.2 Gs of planetary gravity, and moving forwards is not going to be enough, so we will need to use our rear thrust in order to stop from falling, and that was very close to the ground there. And now we can come over to here, we can find my lovely platform that I set up for the recent DLC showcase, and we can go and shoot it with our rocket launchers. So deploying the rocket launchers down and not the landing gear, there we go. There is the station, and now we can start shooting it with our rockets. If I can actually hit it, oh god, this is going to be bad, I can't pull up in time. Oh, there goes part of the wings, and there goes our rear thrusters. Yes, this thing is quite heavy to control, but it's more about the looks than it is about the functionality. It's simply a nice model of the STAG F-69 VTOL from Saints Row the 3rd. So here I am on the Earth-like planet to finish off this video. We're going to fly this thing around because it does handle a lot better when we're not on Pertam. So we're just going to find a nice mountainside and we'll crash it in there, and that'll be it for this video. So as per usual, there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around for it yourself. I highly recommend you do, because it is a nice little ship even if it lacks the functionality of a proper fighter for space engineers. And there we go, we sort of phased through the mountainside, and for a 100 meters per second crash, we didn't exactly lose too much, just a Gatling gun at the front there. So this thing is real solid for a head-on collision. But yes, as I was saying, there'll be a link to it in the description below. It's a nice little ship to play around with if you are looking for something fancy to fly around. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.